Good morning, everyone. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful Tuesday morning. I'm a little late getting on here, but I am on nonetheless. So, hopefully it's not too much. I'm about 8 minutes late. All right, so today we are going to do a fun tutorial for our ACEOs that we've been working on. So these are the ones that we've done so far. If you've missed any of these tutorials, you can get them on my Tube of You channel. You just simply have to go there and find the tutorial you want, and they are in their entirety. So you don't have to you can fast forward through the product introductions and all the things and just do the tutorials, but they're all there. So if you've missed any of these tutorials, you can find that on my TikTok page where that link is. So yesterday we did the dragonfly. He's not my favorite. The more I look at him, the more I'm frustrated that I didn't do his belly right, but that's okay. I learned, and that is a good thing. So while everybody is hopping on, I want to make sure that that you guys know what we're going to do. So we are going to be doing a grasshopper today. This is the inspiration picture for what we're going to do today. So if you're wanting to paint with us today, this is going to be what we're going to do. I'll show you this again in a little while so you can take a screenshot, but I wanted everybody to kind of know what we're working on today. Okay. I'm Ellen, for those of you who do not know me, and I am not a classically trained artist. Hi, Stacy Lee. How are you this morning? I am simply a self-taught watercolor artist that likes to come on and learn with you guys. So not only do I teach you how to draw it, I teach you how to paint it, all the things, but at the same time, I am also learning as I go. So I will make mistakes and we will learn from my mistakes as we go. I hope that you guys will join me and learn how to paint as well. If you've ever wanted to do watercolors, now is the time. So go ahead and grab some paints, grab some paper, grab a brush, and we are going to get started in just a few minutes. I'm going to go through what we're going to be using today so that you guys know. Today we're going to be using our Meeden 48 color palette. And I'm using the 48 color palette instead of the 96 color palette today because I want those of you who don't have a large set of watercolors to understand that you can do painting and mixing with a small set just as easily as you can a large set. So I don't want to get caught up in having a ton of different supplies. I want you guys to know that you can do this with a minimal set of supplies. All right. Hi, Jamie. How are you this morning? We are going to do a grasshopper today. He's cute. He's got a little flower beside him, and we are going to make such a cute little ACEO today. All right, so there's going to be a few things you do need. Hi, Katie. How are you? Yay! I'm glad that you're here to follow along too. I'm so excited. All right, so what we are going to do, again, we're going to be using the Meeden 48 color palette today, not the 96 color. And the reason is I want everybody to understand that minimal supplies will still get you anything that you want in your art. Hi, Brushstrokes. How are you this morning? Glad you're here. So it is pinned below. This is the palette that we're going to be using, the 48 color palette from Meeden. And let me just tell you, it's different from the 96 color palette in that your mixing pans are in the back. So if you want to use your mixing palette, you're going to want it to lay flat like this so that you can mix, okay? I will probably just use my small little Meeden ceramic palette just because it's easier because I need to keep this up out of the way. But this palette has 48 colors total, okay? So you, instead of the 30 metallics you get in the 96 color palette, you're gonna get just 6 metallics in this palette, but that's fine. That's all you need. I started with this palette 2 years ago And I'm telling you guys, I love this palette. I didn't upgrade to the 96 color palette till about 4 or 5 months ago. So for well over a year, I used this palette. As you can see, it is a hot mess. But I love it and I still use it. Okay. I use it for all of my earrings. I don't even pull my 96 color palette out most of the time for my earring sets. I just pull this small palette out. It does have 6 neons as well. Hey, Anna, how are you? Welcome in. So you can pull these out, which is great. And you can pop these out individually as well if you need to put different pans in them, you can. So that's great. It comes with a brush. It comes with a pencil. It comes with an eraser. It comes with an art sponge. All the things you need except for the paper. So if you're looking for a good beginner palette to start painting and you want to learn, this is the palette that I recommend. It's amazing. Good morning. Good morning. Glad you stopped in this morning. I caught your live, just a few minutes of your live last night. Were y'all driving when you were doing that? Because it looked like y'all were moving. Were you in the back of your truck? Because that's such a cool way to do a live. Anyway, I was just fascinated. Okay, so that is the palette that we are going to be using today for our tutorial. Oh, well, that was really cool. And you know what? The signal was really great. I was surprised. I figured, you know, that do you have Wi-Fi in your truck or were you using a hotspot? I'm just curious because sometimes I go, you know, we're in our motorhome traveling a lot and I never thought about doing a live as I was going down the road, but I probably could in my motorhome because I have plenty of space to do it. So I'm fascinated. I love that. It was a really cool live. Anyway, if you guys don't follow Anna, y'all should definitely follow her. She's in the room. So be sure you click on her and follow her. She's got some really great nutrition and health, stuff that she promotes, and also these cool walkie-talkies. Yeah, radios. Oh, cell towers. Okay, cool. Yeah, those are cool radios. I keep telling myself I'm gonna get some, but I just haven't. At some point, I'm gonna invest in them. Okay, so we're gonna be doing a grasshopper today. And hey Talia, good morning. So glad you're here. I hope you can paint with us today. So we are going to be doing a grasshopper today. So let me pull it up so you guys can see what we're going to be doing. It's going to be fairly, well, nope, I'm not going to say that. You know, I say if it's going to be fairly simple, it's going to end up being difficult. So I'm not going to say that, but it's not as detailed as a lot of the things that we have been doing lately. I thought it would be fun to just relax and enjoy doing some painting. And not having to worry about so much detail. So this is going to be what we're going to do today. Going to be so fun. Thank you, Anna. And I am excited about doing this one this morning. So, and I'll show y'all that one more time after we go through supplies that we're going to need. Okay, so you're going to need paints. Now, if you don't have my paints that are below, that's okay. You don't have to. You can have any set of watercolor paints that you want. It doesn't matter what kind of paints you use. I do recommend these medium paints because I love them, and I'm using the 48 color palette today, not the 96 color. Again, the difference is it's 48 of your, it's 40 colors. You get 6 neons, you get 6 metallics, and the rest of them are your primaries and your secondary colors, and they do go from lightest to darkest so that you are able to learn how to blend really easily and shift up for shading and shadowing and all of that kind of stuff. So this is a great palette for that. That's why I love it for beginners. As I am a beginner, just FYI, okay? You guys need to understand that I am a self-taught artist. I'm not classically trained. I learn as I go, and as I teach you guys, I make mistakes, and that's okay. We will all learn from my mistakes, okay? All right, the second thing you're going to need is some paper. Now, the paper that I recommend is going to be, obviously, the Meeden paper that I use every day. I love, love, love this paper, and I'm going to show you exactly why I love this paper. Now, I use the 5x7 size, okay, and it cuts into 4 equally sized ACEOs. So if you get the 5x7 size, you're not going to have any waste in your paper. You're going to be able to cut your ACEOs into 4s, and there won't be any paper left over to have to throw in the trash, which I love, because throwing even a strip of watercolor paper in the trash just makes me cringe. So I love the fact that I can get my equal sizes out of this without having to waste any paper. So that is one of the main things I love about this. Secondly, I love the texture of this paper. If you can see, the texture is just absolutely gorgeous. It gives such a really nice, you know, just a beautiful rough texture to it. I just love it. Here's my cow. You can see it better on the cow, but you can see that gorgeous texture. And everything is super bright and super colorful on this paper. Make and Bloom, hello, hello. How are you? Welcome in. Welcome in, welcome in. So I want you guys to know that paper makes a difference, okay? If you look at these two fine art prints. Let me pull up my other one. Okay, these are fine art prints, okay? One of them is on not so good paper, and this one is on the good medium paper that I love. Now, you can see the difference. There is a huge difference in the coloring, how bright it is, how detailed it is. This is kind of mushy and like faded, and it's just not... It's not crisp. That's the word I'm looking for. This one is not crisp. This one is very crisp and beautiful. And the reason is because I used a good paper to do this. Now, this is not the original. This is a fine art print version of my original. My original has already sold and is gone to live at its new home. But I wanted you guys to see the difference. So I printed them on both because I want you to see that this paper makes a huge difference in how your prints or your art looks. Okay, so let me show you. I think I have, hang on one second. Let me see if I can find it. I do have a, let me see, here it is. Okay, so this is that same, the giraffe that we did. It's not the one with the hearts. I just didn't do the hearts on this one. But this is on paper that's not so great. It just was not a good paper. And so the coloring on it is not great. You can tell, like, it just doesn't look as beautiful as the original of this. Now, this is a fine art print of this one. I don't have the original of this. It's already sold and gone to its home, so you can't tell. But even as a print, to me, this version is better than the original of this version because the paper is so different. So I really, really like this paper. So I highly recommend that if you're going to do watercolor art, get some good paper. This is the paper I recommend, but if you don't get that paper, just get any paper that is a good quality watercolor paper. Okay. All right. So there's my spiel on paper. We're going to be using the medium paper today. And I am going to have to cut some paper today because I am out of my ACEO sizes in that. So let me get my X-Acto and I'm going to show you guys how to do this, because this paper, when it comes, it comes together bonded all the way around. And when you open it, it's just a big block of paper. Okay. So in order to open this, or in order to get your piece of paper, you're going to have to go right here to the top where there's not some glue, and you're going to have to put your X-Acto knife up underneath this, okay? And it needs to be sharp, and you're just going to drag it all the way around, and you want to make sure, guys, that it's sharp enough to cut through that glue, or you will tear your paper underneath. See, like this one is not wanting to work well, so I'm going to get me a sharper one. I'm going to fix my blade and get a better knife because I want to make sure that I don't tear my paper. You can see how the edges are wanting to kind of tear. So hang on one second, guys. I'm gonna move this out of my way. I'm gonna end up spilling my pencils if I don't. All right. So you want to be under that glue. I'm going to start from this side because I've already gone that direction. And you're going to just push or pull all the way around to separate that glue. Okay, so that you can get your sheet off. Otherwise, you will end up tearing it. So it's very... You too, Anna. Have an amazing day. Y'all be safe out there. Thanks for stopping in. Okay, so just know that you're going to get it, and it's going to be a block, and you're going to be like, how do I separate that? This is how you do it, okay? So we're going to be using that paper today. The next thing that we are going to be using is, it's the cold press gunpowder and milkshakes. It's the cold press 100% cotton 300 GSM. And I use the 5x7 size, and I cut it up because you can get 4 equal ACEO sizes out of each sheet without any waste. But I also use the 4x3 sizes for my prints. So when I'm doing, this is one of my fine art prints. So see, this is edition 1 of 10 of a print. And I print it on this paper. And then I just trim 1/4 inch off of each side, and it is the ACEO size. So that is what I do for my fine art prints, is actually using the 4x3 size. But it's the same. It's 100% cotton, cold press. All right. Talia, I've been making mine bigger. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. 2 on the 5x7. Yeah. Yeah, you can do them any size you want. I mean, I just like being able to you know, do that smaller size that fits in my little sleeves that I send out. So, and it's a popular size because people like to keep them in like a binder. And you guys, I did a trade with Carrie. This is the one that she sent me. I sent her my duck, my little duck with the heart balloon. And she sent me this sunflower. I love this so much. It's so, so cute and so bright. She did such a good job on it. She comes in here and paints with us periodically. I haven't seen her. Well, I think she might have dropped in yesterday. I can't remember. But yeah, she sent me this as a trade, and I love it so much. It's so beautiful. She did such a good job. I love being able to do some trading with some people too, and getting other people's art. So it does save money doing 4. I mean, not that much. This paper is not expensive. So, I put mine on EBAY as an auction style. So they start at $2.99, and then they go up depending on the bids. So that's kind of how I do mine. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. And then of course, you know, shipping is like $1.50, I think. And I do it with it's important when you set that up, guys, that if you do set it up on your, on there, that you set it up under, the sorry, I can't say that. The, envelope shipping instead of, don't do regular shipping, because people don't want to pay $5.50 to ship something, you know, that's costing them $1.99 or $2.99. So you want to make sure that you set it up under the envelope shipping, and that way you can get it for 74 cents. So you set it as a 5x7 envelope, and then you set it as 1 ounce in weight, and it will come up as 74 cents in shipping. So if you guys want to want me to show you sometime how to do that, I can do that. I'm considering doing some different topics and changing up my lives a little bit and doing some of the business side of this along with tutorials, because I know some of you guys are getting to the point now that have been painting with me for a while that you're ready to start listing some of your ACEOs, and you need to know how to do like COAs and how to do your fine art prints, how to list on the sites to sell them, those types of things. So if that's something that you guys would be interested in, I would love to be able to do that for you and to kind of share that information. Also, I was thinking about doing, I also have a series of creative Bible studies that I would like to do, maybe on Fridays, instead of doing a watercolor tutorial, doing a creative art Bible study. I would love to do that. So there's just a lot of different things. It's not just watercolor that I do, and I would like to start sharing some of those things too. So I just haven't decided on exactly how I'm going to arrange that, but I will let you guys know once I get that set up. Another thing that I am doing that I have not, cool gunpowder and milkshakes. Yes, I really want to do that. I just haven't gotten around to getting things, as organized as I want to. But I will be setting up some sort of a new schedule. Jody, did you get my invitation? Because I sent you one specifically. I made sure to get it to you this morning because I know you said you weren't getting notifications. So I hope you got it. Brush strokes. Let me show you what I'm talking about. You can do it in regular Bibles, but I have a creative Bible that is from, sorry, hang on guys, I need to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. So I have a Bible that's called an illustrating Bible. And what I do is I pick a verse and we do an art piece around a specific scripture. And we talk and meditate about the scripture and what it means. We might look up some of the meanings of the scriptures. And we just do, it's basically Bible art. I don't know. And you can do this in a normal Bible. You don't have to do it in a big Bible like this. This is just designed specifically for this. So this is the Bible that I use for this. Like this was one of my printables. And I printed it on clear sticker paper. And I put it on here. And then I painted it and did the extra stuff around it. But like these hearts and this love and this little gnome, I did all of that in Procreate and printed it out and then stuck it on here with a background and all the things. So like there's really fun ways you can do art in your Bible, and you can really it's really freeing to be able to like worship with the gifts that God gives you. And if God gave you the gift of art, why not use it to do some art in his word? I mean, it makes sense, right? So I love doing that, but I'm usually doing it here in my studio kind of by myself. And I thought, well, it would be fun to do maybe have like a Friday Bible art class, and we could do that. So I don't know. You guys will have to give me some feedback on what you think about that idea. Oh, cool. Okay. So see, yeah, I can help you get started on it and kind of know what to do in there. It's not difficult and there's no right or wrong to it. It's just a matter of kind of having a process. And I have a process of kind of how I go through that. So, brush strokes, I generally will do I generally do most of my lives during the day. I don't always. On Wednesdays, I do a 7 p.m. and sometimes on Friday nights. So, that would be something that we could kind of all talk about and see what everybody kind of likes as far as a time of when we want to do that. So, you guys, it would be obviously, you know, I do tutorials every day, but I was thinking what I might do is like have a tutorial a couple times a week and then do maybe like a business live for those of you who are wanting to sell your art, and then do maybe a Bible study live on Fridays where we could do that. And so just kind of, there's just some ideas, maybe a sketching live so that you guys could understand, how to sketch things out. Like a drawing one. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm just kind of looking at how to revamp some of these things. I'm working on this series right here. This is a series of ACEOs that are going to be seed packets. And I just love them. They're so cute. So this is going to be a printable that is going to be available to you guys. And then we can do the series together by putting color on them. So I think that it is such a cool little idea to do seed packets as a series. And I'm going to have several sets of these available as a purchase, already painted as originals. But also I'm going to have this printable available for you guys so you can download the printable and you can do these yourself. So, oh yay, I'm so glad. Gunpowder and milkshakes. I'm glad that I popped up on your live or on your FYP, because that's the whole idea, is to start this. You're not dumb. Hi, Watercolor Carrie. I'm glad that you found me too. I'm so excited. Yes, aren't those cute? So, yes. Okay. So everybody's kind of on the same page about maybe doing some different things other than just watercolor tutorials, which is great because I love to do my watercolor tutorials. Don't get me wrong, but I would really like to share some of the other stuff with you, that I do. So, thank you, Watercolor Carrie. So I worked on these last night while I was watching NCIS. I was sitting down on my couch watching NCIS sketching. And these are the 5 that I finished last night. So I'm going to sit down probably tonight and try to finish the other 4. And then I will go over them with my multi-liner so that they're dark. And then I will have that printable available. So I'll let you guys know when that's available. So just wanted to kind of share that with you also. I'm getting sidetracked, guys. Okay, sorry. Let's move on with supplies. Okay, so we went with paper. We need paper. We need paints, and we need brushes. So here are the brushes that I'm going to be using. These are the Jamie, this is on the new paper that I got. This is from Lita Art Supply, and it is it's 24 pages. Well, it's actually 12 sheets is what it says. So I don't know. Maybe it's talking about it's 24 pages back, front and back, I guess. But it is 25% cotton and it's cold pressed. It's an Italian art paper. And they sent me this. I have not painted on it yet, which is why I have not shown you guys anything yet, because I have not painted on this yet and I don't know how it paints. So, but I'm going to do that soon. And when I do, I will let you guys know how I feel about this paper. But I wanted to draw it on a watercolor paper so that when I scanned it for the printable, that you guys would be able to have that, it would be accurate. So, so that's what this is on. And that is in my showcase. Let me see. I'll just show it to you just in case you want to look at it. It is right here. It's product number 1. I'll pin it for you so you can see it. And it's a pack of 2. So it comes in a package of 2, and they have several different things. They have a sketchbook, and they have the watercolor book. They've got a lot of different ones available, but I got the watercolor one. But it's also for mixed media and things like that. So I really like it so far. I've been drawing on it. But again, I haven't painted on it. So I can't tell you how it paints yet because I've not tried it. But, oh, that's good. So the 25% cotton you like. Excellent. I mean, I feel like I'm going to like it. The sketching on it has been really easy and nice. So I do love that about it. I love the feel of it. It's got a nice thickness to it. It's got a beautiful texture to it. So I don't really have any complaints so far. But again, I haven't painted on it. So I don't want to, recommend something that I haven't painted on yet. So I just haven't done that yet. But as soon as I do, I will let you guys know how I feel about it. Okay, so the other thing that, these brushes you just got, brush strokes, they're so cool. I love these brushes. They're my favorite. You're going to love them if you just got them. So these are the brushes that I'm going to use today. They are the Meeden brush set. Oh my gosh, you're going to love them so much. They definitely make a difference in your art, okay? They will level your art up so fast. Like when I started using these brushes, I was amazed at how much of a difference just a brush can make in my art. I had no idea. So these are the Meeden set. It is the 4-brush set. It's the 1, 3, 5, and 7. And they are designed short so you can control your strokes. This metal around the ferrule does not rust, which is great. So you don't end up with rust in your art. The ferrule is nice and tight. So you don't get, it doesn't like shed. So you don't end up with like your bristles in your art, which is great. And they're designed ergonomically so as to reduce hand fatigue. So if you're painting a long time, your hand stays less, or it doesn't get as tired as quickly. So I love that. And they hold a ton of water. They're a synthetic squirrel hair, so they hold a ton of water. And when you're talking about watercolors, that is a very good thing. So I love these brush sets. They are a professional brush set, but they do not cost a professional price. You're not going to pay $40 a brush. You're going to get this whole set for under 30 bucks. And that is a really good bang for your buck. So if you're looking for a good professional brush set, but you don't want to break the bank, then this is the set for you. Okay, we're going to be using that today. Along with, we're going to be using the Golden Maple detail brushes. We probably are not going to use those as much today because I chose an image today that is not totally, that doesn't have a ton of detail in it. But if we do, you know, the eyes and things like that, then we need a detail brush. And so these are the brushes that I'm going to use. They are the Golden Maple miniature brush set. They're designed for like dollhouse furniture and model cars and miniature things like that, but they work great for watercolors. They also are designed for that. You get your liners, you get your round brushes, you get your flat brushes, you get angled brushes, and even a fan brush. You get 20 different brushes in this set. They're a strong, heavy-duty birchwood handle, designed to reduce hand fatigue. They don't rust. They have all of the amazing features as a professional set, and come in this case so you can keep them organized. So these are a really good one. Now, I always say these sell out super fast, but I did look this morning and they just restocked today. So there's plenty of these available. If you're wanting one, you don't have to worry about like, you know, being in a hurry to grab them because they did restock this morning. And so there's about 300 or so of these available now. Yesterday they were running low. They were like under 30 yesterday. So I was a little worried because they sell out fast. Yay, Carrie. All right. Thanks for joining today. I'm glad you were able to hop in for a little while. I hope to see you soon. I'll be on tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So tomorrow night is my live tomorrow. If you want to join us, if you're not having to work, then you can jump on tomorrow night with us at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Okay. I'm going to put that away. So we have that. And then let's see what else. We're going to need a pencil set. This is going to be the pencil set that I recommend. This is the one that I use every day to sketch with. One of the things that you want in a pencil is you want consistency. So you want your lead to stay the same as you're drawing. So if you're using a regular pencil, this is what happens. The pencil gets dull and it gets wider, and then you have to sharpen it. So then you have a really sharp tip and you have a thin line. Then it gets dull and wider, and then you have a thicker line. And you have to sharpen it and you get another thin line. So you get inconsistencies in your drawings. Now, if you use a mechanical pencil, you don't get those inconsistencies because your lead, while it may go down, it doesn't change in width. So you always get consistent lines when you're using a mechanical pencil. So I always recommend when you're sketching, use a mechanical pencil. And if you want to change the size of your lines, you just move up in size. So this set has your 0.5, your 0.7, your 0.9, and your 2.0. So if you look at the size of the lead in the 2.0, you can see how much bigger, see that? How much bigger that set is, that lead is, than the lead in the 0.5. So when you're looking to change sizes of lines, you just change size of pencils and everything ends up being much, much more consistent. So my soapbox is when you're sketching, use a mechanical pencil set. All right. And this one from Nick Pro is amazing. It comes with all of the lead hardnesses that you need. So you get your 2B, your 4B, your 6B, you get your 2Hs, your 4Hs, all of that. They're color coded. So you know which size goes to which pen or which pencil. You get erasers, you get a kneaded eraser, you get extra small erasers, and you even get pencil sharpeners for your 2.0 sizes if you want to. So this is a really good one. It comes in a travel kit and you can travel with it. This goes everywhere with me. It goes in my bag every time I leave the house because with my sketchbook, because in case I see something I want to sketch really quickly, I want to have it with me at all times. So I keep this with me all the time. I love this pencil set. It is hands down the best mechanical pencil set I've ever owned, and I am obsessed with it. So we'll be using that today to draw. I'll be using the 0.5 today. And I might even use the 0.7 today because we're going to be doing that flower. So I'm not sure yet. These days I need to get this set. I get it. I understand that, Jamie. Stacy, yes, you can message me. We'll talk about a trade. Yes, these pencils are amazing. Love, love, love them. Okay, so let's see. You're gonna need some colored pencils today as well. And the colored pencils that I will be using are the Color 240 set. They're right down here. And the reason that I like to have that set is because I like to have a lot of different choices in tone and hue of one color. That way I can blend very easily. So if you look at this picture right here that I colored, I had in my 72 color set, I only had a few choices of green. So I did a light, a medium, and a dark. It looks great. I love it. It's beautiful. And I love those pencils. And I had them for 3 years before I upgraded to the higher set. But if you look at this green right here, I had options of like 15 or 20 greens. And because I had so many options, I was able to pick a light medium, a medium dark, and then a dark. And I was able to blend a lot easier, and I don't have all the harsh lines. Whereas here, you can see the harsh lines because I didn't have as much blending power as I do here. Same thing with the orange and the pink. You can see that I had less options in the pink and the orange. And here I had more options in the pinks and the orange. So the blending comes from being able to have multiple tones and hues of the same color. So that is why I use the 240 color set of pencils. If I use a 72 color set, I have harsh lines. Not that I don't still use these pencils, because I love these pencils. I love this brand. I love these pencils. And it is down in the shopping cart. However, after I got fluent in using them, I decided to upgrade to the larger set. So, Flick, thank you so much for that purchase. You're going to love those brushes. They are such a great brush set. I'm telling you, they are the chef's kiss of brushes. So I'm so glad that you got those. They're going to just level your art up. Yes, the pencils right now are on a really good price. They certainly are. So they are the Color colored pencils, and I have the 240 set. They also have and I kind of wish that I'd gotten this now, but I didn't. So, and I'm not going to break down and get them, even though I have to talk myself out of it every day. But they do have a 300 color set, and they have a 500 color set as well. So, okay. So that is why I use those colored pencils. But also I have a 72 color set in here for those of you guys who don't want that many options because you haven't used colored pencils for a very long time. This is the other set. This is the set that I used for almost 3 years and learned how to use colored pencils. And then once I learned and understood everything, I upgraded to the larger set. So I want you guys to see the option. So it's down here as well. So both of those options are fine for colored pencils. Just know that you want a good soft core colored pencil set. It doesn't matter what the brand is, as long as you like it. That's all that matters. But you want good options in colors, and you want a good soft core. All right? All right. Thanks for the Go Popular Mom. How are you this morning? I got on a little late today, so got a little bit of a late start. Not too much, but okay. So the other thing you're going to need, the last thing you're going to need is going to be a good watercolor or waterproof pen. Okay. I am going to probably be using the Grabby multiliners today, which are here. Okay. You get all of the blacks and you get all of the colors. They've come out with a set that is just black and just colored, but it's not available just yet on TikTok Shop. It will be soon, and when it becomes available, I'll make sure to add those to the list in case you wanted just the colors or just the blacks. Also, these Sakura ones right here are really, really great. You can use those as well. They're the microns. I'm going to put those below as well. You can use those too. I kind of interchange whatever. The only difference that I find is that these are a little thicker, so they feel a little different in my hand. From a control standpoint, these are a little thinner, and I'm used to these because I've had them forever. So getting used to a little bit of a wider pen was different for me on the Grabby, but that didn't matter to me. I still love it, and they are both waterproof, and I love, love, love them both. So I kind of alternate between the two, depending on what I want. Can you tell me how you learn to use colored pencils? Creative Girl 23, I learn by trial and error. I watched a lot of videos on how to blend. And then I just started the first of the year. We started doing our tutorials. I've been doing tutorials since September of last year on lives. And so these are some of my early tutorials without colored pencils. And so at the beginning of January, one of my goals was to get better at doing colored pencils. So what I started doing was adding colored pencils to my art, to my watercolors, and shading over the tops to increase that depth and to get out of that flat look. Because if you can see, kind of, it's much flatter when you don't have that depth to it. So what I did was start adding depth with colored pencils and just learning. And there's like, this is one of the first ones that I did with colored pencils, and you can definitely see how the blending is different than what it looks like now. Because and this was another one of my earlier ones. But if you look at some of my later ones, like this one, you can tell I'm really, like, the shading is getting better and the blending is getting better. And that is mainly because I practice. And I practice usually on live with you guys every day. And if I mess up, I just mess up, and that's just part of it. And, I don't care. It's a learning process, and I learn on live. So that's kind of, we learn together. Hey, Terry Graham, how's it going? Do you ever use the colored ones? Are you talking about the Grabby ones, Samantha? I do. I use those. I use those a lot in my my Zentangles. I do a lot of Zentangles just to relax in the evening times for fun. And I use them for those. Let me see. I probably have my Zentangle book here somewhere. Let's see if I can find it for you. I don't know where it's at. It may be in the house. But I do have a book that I just use as like a practice book. And I just enjoy doing, oh, here it is. Let me pull it out for you. I practice my lettering with them. I practice my Zentangles with them, all of that kind of stuff. And again, this is just, you know, one of the things that I'm doing this year is trying to get better at my lettering. So I have, but like I practice Zentangles with the colored ones. This I did with some color. And this is just a practice book for me. It's just random stuff. Like there's nothing in here that has any kind of purpose other than just being random. Like this was some of the stuff that I was practicing my gel plate with, things like that. So, and so I use them a lot for practicing my lettering and for doing my Zentangles. Yeah, I mean, that's my main book that I do my practice in, but I do have a couple of other ones too, gunpowder and milkshakes. I do on that for sure. Okay. All right. So now it is time to go ahead and let's get started. So let me show y'all the inspiration pick for today's tutorial. This is what we are going to be doing. Get ready to do your screenshots. Terry Graham, thank you for the heart me. This is the inspiration image. Remember, this is AI generated. It is not someone's art I'm stealing. It is AI generated. It will not turn out to look like this. It will be our own art with our own style. So it won't be exactly like this, but this is our inspiration photo. This is what we're going to use to give us some guide on where we're going to go. Diane. Good. Okay, Diane, I will call you that. I have several in here that I call that their username is different than their, and I always write it down and try to remember it. Eventually I'll learn it and won't have to look at my notes, but I'm writing that down right now so I don't forget. But I have a couple people like that, so. Okay. Let's see. Where was I? Okay, here we are. So here is your inspiration. So go ahead and take your screenshots now. I'll give you about 5 seconds to get those screenshots taken. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we are going to go ahead now and get started on that. Now I'll move you to the overhead view in just a moment. But before we do that, let's go ahead and get this cut into our 4 sizes. So at the long end, I'm going to take and mark it 2.5. On top and bottom. And the side view, I'm going to mark it 3.5 on top and bottom. The reason I mark it on top and bottom is because once I cut it, that goes away. So you want to mark it on both sides. And then I'm just going to take my cutting board and I am going to line that up with my marks. So I'm going to cut the 3.5 inch mark first. Make sure it's pressed. Okay, so I'm going to get my 2 halves. This is what I believe Talia was saying. She does 2 of these. So instead of doing the 2.5 by 3.5, she does 3.5 by 5. So this is the size that she does. Now I'm going to take my mark where my 2.5 inch is, and I'm going to line that up with my cutting board. Make sure it's level and straight. And I'm going to cut that. And so now I have my first 2 ACEO sizes, which are 2.5 by 3.5 inch. And then I'm going to go right here. And I'm going to do the same thing. I want to push it up against this border on both sides so that I know that it's going to be a straight line. And then press it. And I have my last two. And notice there was no waste. So I did not have to mess up or throw away any extra paper. It's all usable paper. I hate having to throw away a small strip of paper that doesn't get used. It makes me cringe. So I love the 5x7 size for this reason. Okay, so I will now put the 3 that I'm not going to use up, and I will have those for the next 3 tutorials that we do. And I will take out the one that I'm going to use, and we will tape it to our plate. Now you can do, you can tape it. I tape mine to a piece of wood, but you can tape it to pretty much anything that moves, that you can, you know, shift and move around. I've actually, when I can't find this, I use my stamping block, my little clear stamping block. This, I like to tape it to something instead of taping it to my desk, because I want to be able to move it as I draw. Okay. So if you tape it to the desk, you can't do that. So we're going to do it to this. I'm going to use some washi tape for my borders. I'm not going to use that washi tape though, because it is not in good shape. It's like extra sticky today for some reason. So I'm going to pull some other. We will use this right here for my Mr. Pen journaling kit. All right, so I'm going to use this washi tape. You can use painter's tape. You can use artist tape, whatever you want. I don't like artist tape, or at least the artist tape that I have, I don't like. So I just use this. It makes it easier. Hi, Slim. How's it going? Ooh, Los Angeles. How's the weather there? I'm in Texas, so y'all tend to have a little bit cooler weather this time of year than we do, I think. All right, so we're going to use we're going to make a 1/4 inch border, okay? Oh, sunny. Yep, we have a beautiful sunny day today too. Green frog tape, Samantha, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good painter's tape you can use. I like this. The reason I like to use washi tape is because I like to be able to see through and to be able to see that my borders are even and about the same width. And I can see through this tape to use it, so that helps. And when I use painter's tape, I can't necessarily see it. Now, I can see it in the form of the fact that it shapes, you know, like it molds down, so I can see kind of where the edge of my paper is. So I can tell, you know, you can tell with painter's tape exactly what you're doing. I just like to be able to see it as I'm putting it on the paper. You know, being able to see through and actually see where my tape is going to stick. And so that's why I use washi tape. But I have used painter's tape on occasion, and it is just as good. It gives you clean lines just like the washi tape. So, but I do about a 1/4 inch border all the way around like that. Okay, so that we have a nice, beautiful frame around our art. Now, we're going to do a little bit of a background today that's different than what we normally do. Okay, because I want to do this. I love how this sun and cloudy look kind of makes right there. So we're going to do that today. Even though I normally just do a solid background, we're going to do this today and give some clouds in there because I just like the way that that looks. Okay. So let's turn them off. Got 2 feet of snow and oh my gosh. Ugh. I am not a snow fan, y'all. Tucson is going to be upper 80s. Too soon for summer. I won't go to my market. Oh, I don't blame you, Terry Graham, at all. I got to tell you, I planted my garden this weekend, you guys. I got all my tomatoes in the ground. I got my basil in the ground. I got some of my potatoes in the ground, but not all of them. So, like, we're already getting our gardens down here planted because it's already starting to warm up. It was in the 80s already last week, so... Now, we'll still have a few, our last frost usually happens mid-March. So we'll probably still have 1 or 2 more frosts, but I've learned that if I go ahead and plant them before the last frost, As long as we don't have a freeze, we're fine. And I looked, and it doesn't look like we're going to have any freezes between now and when spring hits. So I went ahead and got mine in the ground and planted and ready to go. So blue skies and sunshine. Oh, that sounds wonderful. Diane, where are you at? What part of the country are you located in? Mitzi, me too. 40 is cold for me. I am Texas. I like heat. Oh, you're in Florida. Okay, sorry, I missed that. Beautiful, beautiful. 18 inches in New York. No, thank you. I don't like that. What part of Florida? I mean, if you don't mind, you don't have to tell me, but I love Florida. We take our motorhome down to Florida a couple times a year because we love that area. We go to the 30A area and spend, a week or two in our motorhome down there, and then also down to the Marathon, like Keys area some too as well. I need it to be hot too, Mitzi. That's me. I'm hot. Oh, Punta Gorda. Okay, by Fort Myers. We love Fort Myers and Sanibel. As a matter of fact, we stayed in Fort Myers for 2 weeks. We drove down 2 Februarys ago, and we stayed in Fort Myers for 2 full weeks and just enjoyed that whole area. I love it so much. And Punta Gorda was one of the places that we stopped in. Okay. Central South Texas is where you're at, Mitzi? Yeah, I'm in East Texas, so Sanibel Island is one of my favorite places, Stacy Lee. It really is. Okay. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to start our background. Sorry, guys, I keep getting sidetracked today. And I even have on, y'all, I have on my focus patch today. This is the first time I've used it. So we'll see. So far, I'm feeling like I'm all over the place, so I don't know. West Texas. Okay. I like West Texas, Talia. We go there in our motorhome too some. Washington State. Oh my gosh. Jamie, I'm so jealous though. I love Washington State so much. I can't even tell you. We go to Index at least twice a year. And I love it. We stay right there on the Skycomish River. Love it so much. The end of May before... Oh my goodness, that's so late. If I was planting a garden in May, I would feel so far, I would be so antsy and feel like I was behind. Oh, Lake Jackson. Okay, yeah, I'm not far from Lake Jackson. I'm just like 2 hours from Lake Jackson. Jamie, you got to go. I'm telling you, you need to take that drive up to Leavenworth. Of course, you probably can't right now. They had that big flood and the road washed out. But, oh my gosh, that drive to Leavenworth along the Skycomish River is one of the most beautiful things that I've ever seen in my life. It is so gorgeous. Oh, Flick, I love New Orleans. I love it so much. We go there quite frequently. We're not very far. We're only 4 hours from there. So we have taken our motorhome down to New Orleans many, many times. Love it there. You do, Jamie. You really do need to take that drive. I'm telling you, make a day of it and go do it. Make it happen. You will not regret it. It is absolutely, especially like springtime, like March or April. So pretty. And it's just like, it's not snowing, so you can see the river flowing, and it is just, oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. And also in the fall, it's really pretty too, because the colors are changing in the fall. We don't get that in Texas. We don't get a color changing for the fall. So, all right. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to get you guys in my overhead view so that you guys can see how we do our background today. So let me get you right here in my lines that I made yesterday. And let me turn this down just a little bit so that those swirly lines will stop, hopefully. Okay. All right. So we're going to take our Meeden 48 color palette, and we are going to get some of, well, first we're going to take a big brush. Okay, so go ahead and get like your 5 or your 7 and get some water, just some clear water, and get your background wet. Okay, so just get your, background wet. And then we're going to take some of our blue, the light blue that's in the metallic or not, the neons. And we're going to just kind of add that in places in our background. Now, it doesn't have to be, there's no rhyme or reason to it, guys, okay? Just random blue, okay? Rinse your brush and go ahead and grab some of your yellow, whatever yellow color you want, and do that same thing right up here in the corner, okay? If it's too much, dry your brush, okay? Pick up some of it so it doesn't overpower anything. I don't want it to overpower. And then also take a little bit of the orange, not much, and just kind of add that in. Wipe it, pick some of it up. So you've got kind of some contrast. Okay. Sorry, guys. I have a little bit of a piece of hair right here. Okay. Okay. So, and now go ahead and get just a teeny tiny bit of a pink color, whatever pink you want. And maybe add that just slightly in here. Okay. And then also get some green for the grass at the bottom. And add in just a little bit of green down here. Okay. And any more places where you feel like you want to have some blue, go ahead and do that as well. I think there's a few more places that I would like to have a little bit of this blue in. Okay, so it's kind of just random little cloudy areas. So you have kind of your sky. Okay. Do a little bit more pink, maybe right here. I don't want that pink to be over. I want the pink to be very, very subtle. But we want it to be there, so. But subtle, subtle, subtle. Okay. All right, once you've done that, we're going to dry it. Oh, sorry, Scary Mama, I didn't see that comment. Yeah, I'm using washi tape. But you can use painter's tape or art tape or, you know, whatever you feel like it's going to give you clean lines. I just like the washi tape because it gives very, very crisp, clean lines. And I like my borders to have really clean frames. And I can show you the difference in just a second. Once this is dry, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Look how pretty that background is, y'all. How gorgeous is that? That turned out really pretty. Okay, so I used an art tape. I used an art tape on this one and several other ones of mine that I've already sold. Well, actually, I may not have. Hang on. Let's see. Just check. No, I think I did. Yeah. And if you look at this, you can see that the border around it, see how that paint leaked up underneath my tape? That was with an art tape. That was with the Meeden art tape, which I did not like. I love Meeden products, so don't get me wrong. Like, Meeden is one of my very favorite companies for art supplies. I just didn't like their tape. It just didn't give me, and I did it on several different paintings of mine, and I ended up with that same problem the whole time. So I switched to the washi tape, and now I have these beautiful, crisp, well, that one's not a good example because it's not dark enough for you to see it, but see this blue, this crisp blue line that I have on this? So much better with washi tape. So I just use washi tape. Painter's tape works too. Yeah, it does. Masking tape will tend to rip your paper. Washi tape does not, or not usually. And if it does, if it starts to try to tear your paper, then heat it up with your heat gun just a little bit and it'll come right off and you won't have any problems with ripping it. So, thank you, Slim. Okay. All right, so now we have our background done, and so we are going to start drawing out our image, okay? So go ahead and take your pencil, and we're going to start with the flower. Actually, no, we're not. We're going to start with the grasshopper. So we're going to start with his feet down here, okay? So his feet are going to, does everybody have their screenshots? Do I need to show you guys the inspiration image one more time before we start drawing? Let me know in the comments if you need me to do that. I think everybody got their screenshots, but I just want to make sure that you guys have your screenshot of our inspiration image in case you need it. So if you do need it, let me know, and I'll show you guys before I get started drawing. Masking or washi tape? I prefer washi tape, Lunar. Yep, washi tape. Or painter's tape, either one. Okay, so here, one more time, I'm going to show you guys our inspiration picture. Here it is. So go ahead, and if you need to take a screenshot, let me get the reflection off. If you need to take a screenshot of it, this is what we're going to be working on. Okay. So this is the screenshot of what we are doing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very good. All right, let's get going on this drawing. Okay, so go ahead and pull out whatever pencil you're going to be using. I am currently using the Nick Pro mechanical pencil. From this set right here, I'm using the 0.5. But you can use whatever pencil you have, and we're going to get going. All right. Now this little grasshopper, I feel like it's going to be a little difficult. So I'm going to do the feet. I'm going to start at the feet, and we're going to go right here in the grass, and we're going to do like a frowny face. And then we're going to make a flat line. And that's going to make his feet. And then we're going to do the same thing right here. We're going to do a frowny face and a flat line. And then we're going to draw his legs up. And then we're going to take the bottom flat line and we're going to go up with that and make his little heel. Okay. Go ahead and make his knee. His little knee is going to be, I'm just going to make a little bump like this for his knee. And then I'm going to keep going. Okay. Now, the first leg is going to stop a little shorter than this leg here. This leg is going to go up a little bit higher. Okay. All right. So now we're going to draw the body. Now the tail comes down at about the knee, and it's going to zigzag up, and it's going to cross right here at the top of the leg. Okay. So you're going to take, and you're going to start where your tail starts, and you're going to zigzag up like this. Okay. So kind of make a little curve there. And then start again here and cross right over the top of that leg and go up and curve up like that. Sort of like looks kind of like the Grinch's belly. And his hand is just a little curly Q. So go ahead and do a curly Q around and go to a point and then up to here. And then fill that in like that. And I'm going to go ahead and erase right here and make this come in a little bit more. Okay, so we want to go in like this. Okay, and let's go put the neck in right here. And now we're going to bring this out like this. Kind of come in and then down to a point. Okay, so now we have his little body. And again, his arm on this side comes out to a point and then down and curly cues up. Okay. I made him too big, y'all. I'm not going to be able to get his little antennas in. Maybe I'll make him droopy. I'll make his antennas droopy. All right, now we're going to do his head. All right, so his head is going to be a smiley face like this. And then it's going to go in and up like that. This is going to come out just a little bit. There we go. Okay. See, I don't have room for his antennas. I do that all the time, y'all. You'd think I would know better and start with the antennas, but we're going to go like this with the antennas. We're going to go down and around like that. And this one is going to come down and around like that. Okay, so his antennas are going down. It's just the way it's going to have to be. All right, now we're going to do the flower. Okay. And we are going to go ahead and start right here and just bring up like this. And I am going to do my petals around. I'm going to start my petals at the bottom like this. Okay. Now that I have my two at the bottom and I know exactly where that stem can go, then I can do the center. Okay, so now we're going to do this full circle like this. We're going to go I'm going to make those smaller. I have trouble with proportions. That's one of my biggest issues. Is getting, and I don't on my larger prints, but on my ACEOs, I always end up too big. I don't know why. I can't manage to get that right. Thank you guys for the likes. I'm not going to worry about that going off the page. That'll be fine. It'll be a border. Okay. So we have that done. I'm kind of covering up that whole area right there that I loved so much, but it is what it is. And let's put our leaves in. When we do our leaves, we want to come up and we want to kind of go like out into a point and then out into a point and kind of like And then do that same thing on the other side. And then you can do your veins up the center when we do the painting. You can also go and you can do a droopy leaf if you want to. Like that. Okay. And then we'll do grass along here. Okay. All right. So there is our sketch. Let's do the eyes and the mouth. So the mouth is going to kind of be to the side like this. And we just are going to bring it from the corners down to a point and up. We have a bit of a like shadow right here for the nose part. And we have our little nose holes. And then we have our eyes. And our eyes are going to come up like this. And then we have our eyebrows here. Okay. All right. Okay, so that's where we're at. It's not perfect, but that's okay. We learned. And of course, I didn't learn because I always do mine too big. So it seems like I never learn to just make them smaller, but that's okay. All right, so here's where we're at. Let's go ahead now and use our kneaded eraser to lighten up some of these lines a little bit. Let me find mine. I'm just going to roll it over and it'll just lighten up some of this sketching. I hate that I went over my pink there, but I can always add in later at the very end, fix the background a little bit if I need to. Okay. All right, so there's where we're at. Everybody ready to put some color on? Hi, Tipsy Gypsy. How's it going? Struggle with leaves so much. I do too, make them bloom. It is what it is though. You know, eventually I'll get better. But the idea behind doing leaves, and let me just grab a piece of paper to show you guys. Because the truth is that when I first started doing leaves, I really struggled with, I just had to do just round leaves. Like I had to do them like this. I just had to go round to a point and down. That's the only leaf that I could do. Okay. But as I started practicing, what I learned is that, first of all, you want a stem. You don't want to start the leaf like connected to the stem like this and try to do it because that makes it harder. So you want to go ahead and have your stem and you want to draw an extra stem coming off before you start your leaf. And then you want to think about each one of these being a separate leaf like that, but you just don't complete it. And you continue to go in that motion. When you get to the tip, go ahead and complete that leaf. And then again, a separate leaf. And then another separate leaf. And another separate. Am I in the picture here? Okay, until you get to where you want to bring that down to the stem again. So like here, I would bring that in a little bit like that. Okay, and then I can go in with, you know, your veins like this. And so you just have to think of each one as being the same as that, but you're just doing that part of it. And that's it. And then you're going to continue through. And then you're going to continue. So that's that. And it does take practice for sure. I am good. Thank you very much for asking, Tipsy Gypsy. It's good to have you in here this morning. It's been a while since you've been in, huh? Been busy. You've been busy. All right. So let's go ahead now and get your paints out and get ready to add some color. All right. Now I'm going to use the, you know what, guys? I may need to use, I don't have a lot of green options in this, but I think we've got enough. All right, I'm gonna use these two greens. Let me get this, see if I can get this to come out. This is my 48 color palette that I've had forever, so it kind of sticks sometimes. All right, we're gonna use these two greens right here, which are the grass green, I think, and I don't know where my swatch card is for this palette. It's right under here, I think. Nope, it's not. Okay, I can't tell you what this green is, but I think it's grass green, and I'm not sure what that is. But it's the first two greens in your 48 color palette. Okay, but pick whatever greens you want. It doesn't matter. This is going to be what color the grasshopper is, okay? We're going to go ahead and use this lighter green first and go ahead and give him his color, okay? So go down his body and give him that light color of green. Okay, and while it's still wet, oops, I don't know what that is. It was in my water. It's like a leaf or something. Y'all, I don't know what that is. Oh, that's super irritating. Hang on. I think it was like dried paint that was in my water. Okay. Let me get him colored again. All right. So while it's still wet, okay, you are going to want to add your shading in. So make sure it's still wet and go ahead and go in with that darker green and put some shading right along the neck and the belly area. Okay, so make sure so you're only going one shade darker. You're using the green that's right next to the first green that you used. And you're going to bring it all the way down into the tail. Right up under the neck. Okay. And then go ahead, rinse your brush, and smooth this out so that you don't end up with any harsh lines. Okay. Very good. And then let's go ahead and add that light green into the arms. Okay, and add the dark green right at the shoulder areas of the arms. Okay, so it kind of fades into the arm. Dry your brush and then just smooth that out wherever you need to. Okay. And then do the legs, the light green in the leg area. and feet. Okay. And we want to have a little bit of yellow in his backside right here. So let's make sure that this lighter area right here is wet. And go ahead and take whatever yellow you want. I'm using the very lightest yellow that I have in the palette. And I'm going to just kind of add that in right here. Okay, I'm going to rinse my brush. And I'm going to blend that through. Okay, so now I have a slight yellow color to his belly, or his back, actually. Sorry, there's another spot. Okay, let's have a little bit of yellow to that. Also, add that same yellow right here to the top of his feet. So go ahead and make sure those feet are wet. And get your yellow. And just put a little bit of yellow at the top of the feet. It's going to barely be noticeable. Okay. All right, now let's do the face. Okay. Go ahead and get that light green. And go, whoops, that's too much green. There we go. And go in his face. Avoid the eyes if you can. If you can't, that's okay. We can always go back with, we can go use a gel pen to fix it. So, but if you can, avoid the eyes. Don't worry about the mouth. Okay, now take your darker green and go ahead and go right here on the cheeky part. Ooh, that was too much too. And across the head right here. Okay, then take your yellow, go right over here. He does kind of look like the Grinch. I'm going to smooth out these lines right here. I don't like that. Okay. All right, now let's dry him off and make sure he's all dry. We'll worry about his antennas in a minute. We'll get the detail brush out for that. Just make sure he's dry. Okay. And we are going to now go in with this. Let's do, how do I want to do this? Let's pull out our detail brush. I'm going to use the 18, which is right here. Okay. I know, right? He's super cute, isn't he, Nat? All right. Let's see. Here is the brush set that I'm going to be using. So I'm using the Make and Bloom. It's the 18 over, sorry, Make and Bloom. I had Make and Bloom and Nat on my brain. I'm using, do you have your own set of brushes? If you do, let us know. I'm going to be using the Golden Maple brush set. And I'm going to use the 18 over 0. And we're going to be using that to do the antennas, the eyes, the mouth, you know, all the little detail work. So, all right. Let's go ahead and grab this green right here for the antennas. And bring it down. Okay. And then do the other side. Ooh, y'all, my tummy's growling. Sorry about that. I should have had a snack. Okay. Antennas are done. Now we are going to do the lines on his belly. You know, the kind of shadowy lines. We want those to be, I'm going to go in with this darker green to do that. And we're just going to kind of come across, starting with the neck. So we're going to go across here like this. And then like this. Now here you could actually use, if you wanted to, you could use your Grabby Multi-Liner green. Because it is actually pretty close to the green that we need. So you could also do that if you wanted to. So this would be one of those times that you could use the colored part, Samantha, or the colored pins. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It can have some spacing and gaps in it. The idea is to make it look super natural. So you don't, not supernatural, but really natural. So it's okay if it has some gaps or if it's not exactly, you know, spaced perfectly or whatever. And you want it to be subtle. Okay, like that. And then we're going to do that same thing with this dark green to line the leg right there so that it looks like it's coming up into the body. Okay. We'll do the same thing with this one, but we'll just come from the belly right here. And again, you could be using the Grabby Multi-Liner green for this as well. I want mine to be a little bit thinner than that 0.05, so that's why I'm using this detail brush. Thanks, Fat Cornbread. All right, come around with the heel. And now we have his legs done. Okay, now let's go ahead and get a little bit darker green. I'm going to go to the very next green. So this is going to be the third green in this pack. And I'm going to grab some of that. And we're going to kind of darken up this area right here where his arm kind of connects. To the shoulder. Okay, so we're going to give it that kind of shadow, and it's going to kind of go down the belly. Okay, so you see how it's got that shadow coming out now? All right, now we're going to go back to that second green, because we don't want it to be that dark all the way around. And we're going to keep going around his belly. Okay. Thank you, Stacy Lee, the deep moss green. Okay, now on this side, our light source is coming from the left, so we don't need that dark green that we did on the other side. We just need this one. So we're going to use this, and we're going to go kind of in with the shoulder, just like that, and down. Y'all, I finally got my Alexa working again. I don't know what was wrong with it, but my son-in-law fixed it for me, which I'm so glad, because I don't like it when it's super quiet. And this playlist gets approved on my Tube of View channel, so I don't have to worry about having any copyright issues. Yes, we did do a horse. Let me pull my horse out so you can see it. He turned out super cute too. Let's see. We did do him. He kind of looked like a donkey though, more than a horse. But he is right here. We did him the other day. And he kind of turned out looking more like a donkey than a horse. But I still think he's cute. Super cute. He's the replay for this is up on my Tube of View channel if you want to see the replay. All right, let's do the face or the head. We're not using our black multi-liner for this because I want him to be green. Okay, and if we do black, it's going to take away from that green look. That's why I'm going around him with this green instead of the black multi-liner. We'll do the black multi-liner probably on the flower. Yes, I do, Diane. I sure do. And you can go to my TikTok page, and you know that place where all the LINKS's are. You can just go there, and it will take you to it. And you can subscribe from there. And I post all of the replays on there in their entirety. I do not edit them, so you can fast forward through all the product information and all the side chats that we get involved in and all the things. So you can get through these a little quicker than obviously on the live itself. I just don't have time to do all that editing. I just post them straight up there the way that they are. So, all right. So now we have him done. Okay. Let's go ahead and move on now to, we're not going to do the, well, let's go ahead and do the eyes. We'll do the eyes and everything now while we're on him, and then we'll move over to the flower. Okay, so let's do, the way we're going to do the eyes are, we are going to go ahead and pull out our, I'm going to use the Grabby multi-liner, and I'm going to use the O1. All right. It's cute. I just did a donkey. My kiddos wrote a book and wants me to add some. Oh, that's so cute. I love that. The Tipsy Gypsy. That's a great idea to do that with your kiddos. My grandson is very artistic, and he and I do a lot of painting together. All right, so this is the set that I got this from. These were sold out yesterday, but they have restocked them, but they've only put a few in there. They have under 50 of these available. So, because they ran out of stock. So if you're wanting to get these Grabby multi-liners, now's the time to get that, because it's, they are running low. I'm going to have to look at them too. Yes, my daughter homeschools my grandkids, so we do a lot of really fun stuff in their homeschool stuff. It really is a benefit to be able to like do those things that they don't necessarily get to do in a public school setting. Not that public school is bad. It just wasn't for us. It was just, we just felt like it was a better, you know, he's neurodivergent. And he needs just things that I just didn't feel like, and neither did she, that he was going to be able to get from public school. So, all right, now I'm going to need the gray to do this. So I'm going to use the 05 gray and to make the shadow of his little nose right here. You could also do the green, but I'm going to do this gray. And go ahead and get the outlines done. Okay. Now from here, we're going to do the round little, I don't know if that's called the iris or the pupil. Sorry, the pupil. And then okay, and go ahead and give him some eyelashes. And let's do the mouth. Okay. Oh, and the nose holes. And then we'll get our white. I'm going to use the Langku or Langu. I don't know how you pronounce it. I'm going to use that white because I need a small white. I can't use my ZSM because it's too big. The tip of it's too big. But we can use the Langu. And I'm going to just do a small little highlight. Just like that. On the eye. And then we will take our red Grabby. So Samantha, we're going to use these colors today. And I normally don't even do that on my watercolor, but for some reason it just worked out that way. And we're going to go ahead and put in the inside of the mouth. You could use watercolor too, but just the mouth is done. Ta-da-da! Okay. All right. So he is super stinking cute. What do you guys think? Now I'm going to take my detail brush. I'm going to take a little bit of the green, and I'm going to just go right up underneath this shadow. Actually, I'm going to put some water there first. Let me just put some clear water. Now remember, these are waterproof, so they're not going to smear. So you can go over them and they won't smear. Put a little bit of water there. Take some of this green. And just run it right across up underneath here. Just to give him a little bit of a shadow under his nose. Rinse your brush and just kind of blend that down. Okay, and that gives his nose a little bit of depth there. Okay, it makes it look like it's kind of, you know, curled up. And we'll do that with the colored pencils too and make it even more defined. Okay, so let's dry him up and then let's move on to the sunflower. Now the sunflower, we've got his antenna going over the top of the sunflower. So we're going to have to be careful around this. Probably should have used the grabby pencil instead, but I didn't. So that will smear if we're not careful. Or the grabby pen, not a pencil. So we'll have to just work around that. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the, let me put my greens back. Ow. Caught my finger when I pushed that in there. And let's get some yellows and oranges out. Well, maybe if I can get them to come out. This set has got so much like goo around it for me using it so much that these don't always want to come out. There we go. Yeah, see? It was kind of stuck in there with watercolor paint. Okay. So we're going to take our orange and yellows and we are going to... Oh, y'all, I pinched my finger when I did that. That hurt. Okay. Let me move back to our paint set so that you guys know what we're using. All right, we're back on our paints, and we are using the yellows and oranges for this flower. Okay, we're going to take our #1 Meeden brush, and I'm going to go in with this yellow first. And I'm going to just do the petals. With the yellow. Just be careful around the green right there. Don't get carried away if yours is going over the flower like mine is. Okay, now make sure every petal is still wet before you do this, but you're going to want to go in now with an orange and dab it in the very end of each of the petals. Just like that. Dry your brush or rinse your brush, dry it off, and then kind of just blend those so that the blend is smooth. It'll do the blending for you. You just need to smooth it so you don't have harsh lines is all. Okay. So you end up with these pretty blended petals. Okay, just like that. Dry it. And then, I don't know why this didn't erase very good. I'm gonna have to put some color there, but that's okay. I can do that later. Okay, now go ahead and get a brown, whatever brown you want to use. I'm gonna use a, I don't know. I'm gonna use this middle brown right here. Okay, and I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna do my middle, my center. You want to make sure your petals are dry so that the brown doesn't blend in. Although it can blend into them a little bit, it's not going to hurt anything. It'll kind of make it look more cohesive. So we probably should have left these a little wet to kind of get some of that brown in them. I'll smooth it up just a little bit into the petals so it kind of blends in. Okay, don't worry too much about it, but you don't want any super harsh lines. So just make sure you don't have any harsh lines. Okay, now I'm going to go back in with my detail brush and a really dark brown. And just give it some dots. Darken that up a little bit. Go ahead and dry it. Because those dots spread way too much because it was too wet. And now that it's dry, we'll do that again. Thank you, brush strokes. Sorry, I just looked at the comments. Now we can get some dots in there. There's my bird. Starting to chirp. Okay. All right, now go ahead and take your detail brush and dip into your orange that you used on the flower. And let's give these petals some lines. I'm not thrilled with my flower, y'all, but that's all right. Maybe I can fix it with the colored pencils. I just don't like, I kind of was a little stiff-handed when I drew it for some reason. I'm not sure why. but it'll do. Okay, so we have that. Now I'm going to take this same detail brush with some clear water, and all I'm going to do is kind of just smooth all that out so that kind of blends together. Because I don't want the lines to be super harsh around the edges. So I kind of want them to kind of blend. Matter of fact, I'm going to switch to my bigger brush and see if I can fix that. I mean, I'm still going to have those outlines, but it's going to kind of blend in to them. There we go. That's better. Okay. All right. Now let's take our Grabby Multi-Liner Black. Yes, they will, Miss Mitzi. They certainly will. And I have all intentions of having a little feeder right outside on the porch of my studio so that I can enjoy them. You know what? I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this with black. I'm going to do this with the green. Do this with the green. Okay, now take your brush and get your green and go ahead and go in and do your leaf. Now, when you do the leaf, you want to have the dark base coming from the bottom. So go ahead and get into your darker green and just add that right at the bottom and let it kind of feed its way up. You can even kind of give it some of your veins with that. Same thing here. You're going to go in with your light color first. And you're going to feed it with the dark right here at the base. So it kind of blends up. Okay. Light right down here. And then dark. Okay. All right, now let's do some grass. And then we'll do some outlining too. So we're still going to want to outline these leaves, so we'll do that first. Go ahead and kind of define your leaves. There we go. Okay. And now let's get some grass. Remember, some of this grass we want to be thin, and some of it we want to have thick. So light-handed. And it's just random. I don't have any rhyme or reason to how I do my grass other than just random sprouts. You can do like little V's if you want to. But for the most part, that's about all I do. Then I'm going to take this big brush and I'm going to kind of give my grass a little bit more shadowing by adding in some more green around the base. Okay, like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and go back in my background, guys, because I covered up some of that beautiful pink that I wanted in my background. So I'm going to wet this again, just right in between here. And I'm going to bring in some of the pink and some of that blue again, so that I have that subtle pink that I wanted initially, that I ended up messing up when I drew over it. Okay. All right, now let's dry this. Thank you, Christy. Thanks, Tipsy Gypsy. All right, now I'm going to, I've got a little bit of the pencil mark still showing that I don't like right here. Let me fix that really quickly. Right here. I don't like my pencil marks to show, and they do sometimes, but I like to cover them if I can. Okay, now it is time to add in some pencil work. All right, so I want you to put your watercolors away for the moment. We will need them again for our splatters in just a little while. But go ahead and close that up, move it out of the way, and grab whatever colored pencils you feel like you need. I'm going to be using a light green, a very, very light green. I'm going to use a medium green. These are the Color colored pencils. These are the greens that I have to choose from. You can see that I have multiple options for lights, darks, and mediums, which is what is going to make this blend look so beautiful. So, hang on, let me get all of these in here like they are supposed to be. I kind of ran over this the other day with my, the wheel of my chair, and it messed my holder up. Okay, so let me find these for you guys. They are right here. This is the colored pencil set. Terry Graham, thank you so much for that purchase. You're going to love those grabby pens. They're waterproof and they don't smear, and they're very, very useful in doing detail work. So thank you so much for supporting my showcase, but congratulations, because you're going to love them. Okay. All right. Hang on one second. I got to do one thing really quickly. All right. Just a sec, guys. Sorry, give me just a minute. I have to fix something on my computer. Because it was not showing me what I needed. Okay. All right. So the colors that I'm going to do are going to be the, I'm going to do a very light green. So I'm going to take, I'm trying to decide if I want to do, I think I'm going to use this one. So I'm going to use this light green. Then we're going to need a medium green that has the same kind of hue. And I'm wondering, that looks good. And then we're going to need a dark, which is going to be that. I don't know. It might need to be this. Nope. I think we're going to go with that. Okay. All right. So that is the greens that I'm going to use. All right. Now we'll pull yellows and oranges for the flower in just a minute. But for now, let's just know that we're going to use the apple green, which is 101. The fresh green, which is 134. And the fluorescent green, which is 236. Okay. Those are what we're using. And we will start with a light pressure. And we are going to go over all of this area right here that is not the yellow part. Okay. We're going to need a light yellow for that. So that's probably what we'll use for blending, is this light right here, this yellowish green. You just see, yeah, that's what we're going to use right here, this yellowish green. So that is all light pressure. We just did light pressure. Okay. Now we're going to take the medium green, light pressure. We're going to come down, but not as far and not as far out with the medium green. Okay. Now this is just going to give him that look of being more 3D. He's not going to look so flat. Okay. Light pressure. Then we're going to use the dark, and we're not even going to barely come out with the dark. Okay. Right along the edge of his belly and tail. Okay. All of that was light pressure. Now we're going to go in with medium pressure. I'm using the yellowish green first. Medium pressure. And that's going to go into the light green a little bit, but not far. Just on the top of it, just enough to blend it. Okay. Then we're going to do the apple green. Medium pressure. You guys can kind of see how this is bringing that body to life. Okay, that's what this shading is going to do. This is medium pressure. Okay, then we're going to do the medium green. Medium pressure. We're not going to come out as far. And then we're going to use the dark green, and not even far at all. We're just going to go right along the border of his belly. And the tip of the tail. Okay. Now, heavy pressure. All right. Heavy pressure. I'm gonna have to sharpen this. Diane, they do slightly, what I tell people is if I had not put the watercolors on, what you would end up with is a colored pencil drawing that's very flat. So you could do shading with watercolors and not do the colored pencils, and you still end up with kind of a flat drawing or a flat artwork. So I add the colored pencils over the top of the watercolor to give it depth and like dimension. And while you're going over the watercolor that you did, some of it, not all of it, you do end up covering a lot of it up. But if you didn't have it under there, you wouldn't have the dimension. You would have a flat colored pencil drawing. So either way, you need to have to get the depth, you have to use both mediums. Now you can get depth with watercolor, sort of. Like if you look at let me just pull it so you can see it. Because I want you to see the difference. You can get, I have some here somewhere. Okay, this. I've shaded this with watercolors, okay? There's no colored pencil work on this, and it looks good. It's beautiful. I love it. You know, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I love this painting. However, if I were to go back in with this and darken up some of these darker shaded areas, it would give it more depth. It would not look so flat. So the idea, and you can see the face has got depth, but not a ton. But this has major depth because I went over it with the colored pencils and defined out that shading more. So what I generally will do is, but if I didn't, I would still have a really pretty watercolor painting. I just don't have the depth that I get with the colored pencils. But if I were to just do this drawing and do it with colored pencils and no watercolor, it would come out flat just like the watercolor does. By adding the two mediums together is how you end up getting this depth and this feel of it being more like coming to life. It's more like that looks rounded. You can tell where his belly is. You can tell where his back is. Like it's very much defined. So it has a lot more depth to it. So it's the combination of the two that make your art really, really dimensional and stand out. So I hope that helps. You don't have to do colored pencils. It's just that for me, I feel like it just gives my art that much more like dimension to it. And I really like the way that it looks when I add the colored pencils on. And I do it in 3 layers because that makes the colored pencils blend and not look so much more like pencils, but look more like a blend, like an ombre. So I do very much like to do it in layers. So I do a light touch or a light pressure first, and I go over the parts with a light pressure, and then I go with a medium pressure, and then I go with a heavy pressure, and it makes it blend much, much better. So like if you look at, let me just pull this and show you. I don't know if you were here in the beginning when I showed this, but if you do, hang on, let me find it. So it gives you, if you go through on the different layers, it gives you this ombre blend. You don't end up with these harsh lines like this. You end up with a blend that's very smooth and very shadowy. So you don't have these harsh lines like this. And that's because I go through it, in layers. Now, in smaller areas, you don't have to do as many layers. So like right here on his head, I'll probably only do 2 layers. I'll probably do a light pressure and a heavy pressure, and that's it. The bigger areas where you're going to notice the harsh lines more is where you're going to end up needing to do like the 3 layers. But this, I'm just doing a heavy pressure, and I'm doing a light pressure, and then I'm doing a heavy pressure. And that's it. Because I don't need to do the entire, you know, all 3 layers. Another thing that you need to understand is that if you do a lot of colored pencil art like I do, you want to have a pencil sharpener that is going to not eat up your pencils. Because, you know, they're not cheap, obviously. And if every time you sharpen them, if your pencil sharpener eats it, like sharpens it more than it needs to be, like keeps spinning when it doesn't need to spin, then it's going to eat up your pencils a lot quicker. So you want one that is sensitive to how sharp your pencil is. So when I put my pencil in my sharpener, it's not eating my pencil up. It just sharpens it. Immediately when my pencil is sharpened, it spits it back out. So just know that you want to have a really good pencil sharpener that doesn't eat up your pencils. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to take this dark and I'm going to go just right here into the arm area. And I'm going to take the very, very lightest color and I'm going to blend those together right here. And that's it. We don't have to do much there. Okay. Same thing with the legs. I'm going to go a little bit dark right here and right here. And then I'm going to blend out here. And the feet, I'm going to give them a little bit of dark around the base right here. And then I'm going to blend them out with this. Okay. And now I'm going to move on to, actually, let me do a little bit of the leaf right here too. Not too much because we don't need a ton. Because the leaves were already pretty much, they looked really good. So we don't have to do a ton of that. Now it's the flower that I want to fix because I'm not happy with my flower, mainly because I drew it in haste and probably should have paid better attention to what I was doing. So I need to get me a good orange and yellow. So here is a good yellow and here are some oranges. So I'm going to pull those and I'll tell you what colors those are. So I have the pumpkin yellow, the orange yellow, or I'm sorry, light orange yellow, pumpkin yellow, and bright orange red. Those are the 3 that I have. And I am going to use the yellow first, and I'm going to do an entire layer of light pressure over the flower. Okay. Then I'm going to go in and I'm going to go out with the orange light pressure about halfway up each petal. Again, light pressure. And you're going to really see what this does to the flower. This is going to really make this flower come to life. And now we're going to use the orange, the dark orange, red, and we're just going to barely go like right in the centers of these petals. We're not going to go far at all. And you can see kind of it's already kind of coming to life with just this first layer. Okay. Now we're going to go back over it again, medium pressure this time over the whole thing. You want to go over the dark parts too, like the whole petal, to blend those in. Okay, now medium pressure with the medium orange. About halfway up. And then dark, just barely. Not a ton. And then one more time, we'll go with heavy pressure. Okay, so now heavy pressure. And honestly, I don't think I need to do the medium and the dark again. I think that blended it really well, so I'm going to leave it just like that. So, and you can see kind of how that now looks more rounded and 3D like. Okay, so the last thing that we're going to do is we are going to cover up this cute little guy's face so we don't get splatters on him, and we are going to do our splatter. And I'm going to splatter, I think, with the blue today that we used in the beginning for the sky. So take your #1 brush, get some water on it, get lots of blue on your brush, and take another brush and just tap. Your blue splatters where okay. And now rinse your brush, pick up your paper, and let's dry him off. And then we will peel our layer, our tape. Yes, absolutely. The colored pencils make a big difference. Now, you don't have to do that. Honestly, you can get away with just leaving it shaded. I just really like having that extra depth to mine, but you certainly don't have to do it. And I, again, am not a classically trained artist. I don't know what I'm doing. I learn as I go. And that was one of the things that I kind of learned along the way through trial and error, was playing around with colored pencils. So, okay. The one other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go around my flower. I don't like it the way it is. So I'm going to bring in some of this black and just kind of go around it. It's just me. I don't know why I don't like it. There's something about it that I'm not liking. Okay. All right, that's better. Okay. I like that better. Okay, now let's peel our edges. And you can see that beautiful frame. I love the way that the edges look when we peel this tape. It's my favorite part, is peeling it off. And coming up with that cute final print. You guys, what do y'all think? I think he's cute. Turned out great. I just love him. Okay. Questions about anything that we did today that you need to know. Brushstrokes, thank you for that purchase of those pencils. You're going to love them. That pencil set, that 72 color set, is my set that I had for 3 years. I still use it every day. I use them. I keep them right here in my drawers. And honestly, well, that's not the right one. I keep them close to me because they are a great set. I love them. And I used them for almost 3 years before I switched and upgraded. And I'm telling you guys, they're both amazing sets. I love the Color set because I like the color options, but I love that So Color set because it has the soft core of them are absolutely like, they're like butter. I love them so much. So you are going to really like those pencils. That was a good choice. Let's see, Simon. Oh, that's a great name. Maybe we'll have to do him. I'll have to give him a Simon something as his name when I'm doing my description and all of that. So now you want to sign your work with a watercolor pen. Just so you know, I learned this the hard way. Those of you who've been following me for a while saw what happened to my sloth when I didn't sign him with a waterproof pen. So make sure when you sign your art, you do it with a waterproof pen so you don't accidentally mess it up. Okay, and there you have it. This is today's little painting, Simon the Grasshopper. I think he's precious. And I made him a little bit too big, so that was something that I'll do next time. I'll remember to shrink him down because he should have been a little bit smaller, you know, like at least eye level with the flower, but that's okay. He's fictional, so he can be big like that if we want him to be. And but other than that, I really like how this turned out. I think he looks beautiful and dimensional, and he pops really well, and he'll be a great addition to, yes, he is Texas sized, and we know everything's bigger in Texas. So I love it though. So what we did was we did watercolor first, and then we did colored pencil. We used the Grabby multi-liners. We used the Meeden brushes. We used and we used the golden maple detail brush set. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about any of the techniques we used or anything that we did today that you want me to answer for you? I'm happy to do that before I hop off of here and go have me some lunch. So you guys just let me know if you have any questions or anything. Because I know that sometimes I go a little fast. I try to go slow, but I do tend to go a little fast sometimes, and I don't want anybody to feel like they did not get their questions answered or they, didn't understand something that we did. So let me know if you guys have any questions about that. Otherwise, I will tell you that my next live, what palette is the set that you use? Okay, so I use the Meeden 48 color palette. A lot of times I'll use the Meeden 96 color palette, but today, Brushstrokes, you are so welcome. Don't forget the replay. If you do want to try this little guy, you can get the replay on my Tube of You channel, and you can find that on my TikTok page. So, you can go to my TikTok page and click where the LINKS's are, and that will take you to my Tube of You, and I have all of my replays on there in their entirety, unedited. The palette that I use is the Meeden palette right here. I have the 96 color palette and the 48 color palette. Today we use the 48 color palette mainly because I wanted to use something that had less options and colors so that everybody could understand that you can get beautiful blending and colors out of less supplies. You don't have to have these massive, expensive, you know, tons of colors, you can use a simple palette and still get beautiful colors out of it. Now, the difference between this set and the 96 color set is the 96 color set, you get 30 metallics, and in the 48 color set, you get 6. Doesn't matter if you don't use a ton of metallics. You get 12 macaroons and 6 neons in the 96 color set, and in this one, you just get 6 neons. The rest of these are your primary and secondary colors, and they go from lightest to darkest, so you can learn to shade really easily because you can just move up the color schemes to do your shading. So it shows you basically the way it's laid out, how to do that. And then your color families work from top to bottom. And then your palettes for mixing are in the back. It closes up and you can travel with it really easily. I know mine's a hot mess. I've had it for 2 years and I've used it every single day. So it is very, very much a hot mess. But you also get a brush and a pencil and an eraser and a sponge with this as well. So this is a great palette. It comes with everything you need to get started except for the paper. So I would this is a great beginner palette. Whether you choose the 48 color set or the 96 color set, they're both great palettes. I use them both daily. The difference mainly is you get more metallics and you get the macaroons in the 96 color set, which I love, but don't necessarily have to have, which is why I had this palette almost 2 years before I upgraded to the 96 color set. And then when I did upgrade to the 96 color set, I do love it very, very much. But again, it's, you know, it was for me a luxury. I was going to pull it out so you could see it. For me, it was a luxury. It wasn't something I necessarily had to have. So this is the 96 color palette. And you can tell I haven't had it quite as long because it's not as messy, but it has the fold out palette. It comes with 2 art sponges, comes with a pencil and a brush and eraser. And then you get all of your metallics back here, your 12 macaroons, your neons, and then 48 of your primary and secondary colors. Same design though, lightest to darkest, color families top to bottom. Thank you for the rose, Miss Mama. All right, so that is the palette that I love and use daily. Any other questions that we have before I hop off of here? Couple of other things I want to remind you guys of, for those of you who were not here at the beginning, I'm working on doing a few different things with my lives other than just doing watercolor tutorials. So I've got some series in the works. I've got some seed packets that we're working on for some printables for you guys, so that you guys have access to some printables that you can just paint and you don't have to necessarily draw. This is my first set of printables that I'm working on. This is some seed packets for some ACEOs. I think they are going to be absolutely beautiful when we get finished. So you'll get, in the printable, you'll get the actual like black and whites, and you can put the color on yourself. So that's one of the things that I'm working on. Another thing is doing a Friday devotional Bible art journaling tutorial rather than doing a watercolor tutorial. So that's something I'm working on as well. So I've got a lot of things in the works. So hit the follow button if you're not already following me, if you like that kind of content, because I'm going to be doing a lot of that as well. Okay. All right. Talia, thank you for the gifts. It's showing that you sent a gift, but I don't see it. I didn't see it come through. That's weird. Anyway, you are so welcome, Brushstrokes. You have a wonderful day. I hope to see you tomorrow. I'll be on tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Okay, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow evening. That is what we will be, that's when I will do my live tomorrow. Talia, me too. I had a blast with it. I think he turned out super cute. I just love, love, love him. And he's going to be great with my collection of other ACEOs that will be going up. They will be available on my EBAY channel. Usually I do my listings on Sunday evenings so that they end on Sunday evenings. So they go for a full week. Diana, it was good to meet you too. I'm so excited to have you on board. As a matter of fact, I'm going to click on you and follow you right now. So I'm following you back. That way we are friends, and you can private message me if you have any questions or you need anything. Because if I'm not following you, sometimes those messages don't get to me. So any other questions from anybody before I hop off of here? If not, I'm going to say adios for today. And I will see you guys tomorrow at 7 p.m. Tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So Wednesday is my nighttime class. So if you guys want to join me for class tomorrow, be sure that you set your timer or set your alarms on your phones for 7 p.m. Tomorrow evening, Central Standard Time is when I will be on for my next tutorial class. I'm not sure what we're going to do, but I've got some cute things that I've pulled up, and I am excited. So I will see you guys tomorrow, okay? Thanks, guys. I had fun today. Bye.